Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to explore the new feature of painting. Painting was in LuBan before, but in this video, we are going to introduce painting version 2. So firstly, let's start the application LuBan. When you start LuBan for the first time, you usually get this dialog box. It's basically telling the new user where are the important functions of LuBan. You can ignore this dialog box and click No, so it won't appear again. Let's go to Photomagic, File, Create, Photomagic. Painting is one of the methods in Photomagic. And again, you see an information dialog box, which is telling you that when you change a value in a text box, you have to hit the Enter key to update the display. And this behavior is across all functions in LuBan. If you are already familiar with this type of workflow, you can just click No. You don't want to see this dialog box again. Here we are directed to the main interface of Photomagic. Photomagic has a lot of useful functions. We will jump into the function of the topic today, painting. If you are familiar with the painting previous version 1, then you should recognize these controls. There are a few more controls that I'm going to introduce one by one. The main addition in painting version 2 is the introduction of a box type painting. So you can create a box around the painting. And the most important control that we introduce here is template. You can now load a template so that the painting is no longer always rectangle. It can be any shape. But of course, it still works with rectangle image. So I'm going to upload an image to the painting method. Okay, the baby shark image. And this is what you get with the default settings. There are many things that you can tune. For example, in painting, you can change the number of colors. Currently, it's 4. You can change to 5 colors. You see, there is a little bit change. It's quite slow because the resolution is a fine resolution. I can set it to 0.4 and then hit the Enter key. It will be a lower resolution, but the response will be faster. So I'm going to use resolution 0.4 for the demonstration. This is 5 colors, 6 colors, 7 colors, 8, 9, 10. And for this particular image, when I increase number of colors to 12, I get a reasonably decent representation of the original image. These controls are already in the painting in the previous version, so I'm not going to spend too much time on these functions. You can, of course, set X and Y size. When you set the X size and hit the Enter key, the Y size will change automatically. Similarly, if you set the Y size and hit the Enter key, the X size will change automatically. This is an fixed aspect ratio resizing. If you want to do non-fixed, flexible resizing, you have to use object and then transform function. That's another story. Painting has one layer and multi-layer options. In multi-layer options, you'll see each color was generated on a separate layer. And currently the layer is quite high because I have used layer height 0.4. You can set it to any value. You can even set it to the same layer height that you are going to use in a slicer. For example, you can set layer height to 0.2. That's often used in a slicer program. Now going back to the new changes introduced in this version, we have border size, base thickness, as well as box inner height. The border size is the gray area around the painting. The base thickness is the base beneath the painting. If you don't want the border, you can set it to 0, hit the enter. Okay, now the painting is borderless. If you do not want the base, you can set it to 0 too. Now it's a pure color layer painting generation without any base. If you want to have the border without the base, set the border to a positive value and leave the base as empty. You'll get a painting like this. And this was the original design of version 1, painting version 1. There is no box. In the new version, we have introduced a box inner height. In order to change box inner height, both border size as well as the base thickness has to be positive values. Otherwise, this control is grayed out. So I'll set the border thickness, the base thickness to 2. Now we can change box inner height. Default value is 0. There is no inner height. And I can use object explode, a very handy function for visualization, to check what's inside between the color layer and the box. If I just press this, as you can see, there is a little indent on the base. The indent is for fitting the painting. There is no empty volume between the painting and the base. When you set box inner height to a positive value, hit the enter key. Now you get the box. You get an empty region, hollow region in the box. Of course, you can put LED lights. You can put other type of things in the box to light up this painting. And in the community, sometimes this type of painting, sometimes this type of creation is called light box. The light is illuminated from behind, and you can see the color showing in a more vivid way. Okay, now let's explore the, by the way, we have a tolerance setting. As with other methods, the tolerance is for fitting the painting in the box. When it is 0, it's a tight fit. When we do 3D printing and after the printing process, material usually gets expanded a little bit. So we have to set the tolerance to a negative value in order to compensate for material expansion. Look at the edge closely. Look at the edge closely. When I hit enter, you will see a gap. So this is 0.2, actually 0.4. 0.2 on the left of the box, 0.2 on the right of the painting. The gap is 0.4. With the gap, it can compensate material expansion. As to exactly which is the best tolerance, there is no unique answer. Existing users are all familiar with this type of tuning. It is printer-based, setting-based. You have to find your best tolerance value by some experiments. If the gap is too big, you can reduce it to 0.1, negative 0.1. And if it's too tight, you can further reduce it to negative 0.3, so on and so forth. Lastly, let's explore the template function. When I can introduce optionally a template to the painting. A template is a black and white image. For instance, I can introduce a circular template, and this will be our new painting. I can also use object select, again, another visualization tool to help us seeing the multi-object window more clearly. As I drag the slider bar, you can see different objects highlighted. And each object is a layer, is a color layer. The first one is the base. So I have selected the base, then disable the color, the object selection. Then I can use a clipping tool to clip inside the base. This will allow us to see the interior just in another way. You can also use explode to see it. Obviously, we can load different types of template. I can load an Autobot template, and this will give us this kind of thing. If I use explode, I can see inside all the pieces. I can use a ring template as well. Okay. So when I finish tuning with the parameters, I'll do save model, save it to the desktop, save. And on the desktop, you will see a new folder. The folder contains everything. It has a project file. You can use LuBan to open the project file and everything will be loaded back. It has the template file, the original photo, as well as other exports, such as the STL files of all the layers and the base. It has SHP files. These are the 2D files that people can use to load into their laser control software to cut all the layers. So basically, mostly people use this on 3D printers, but you can also use laser cutting to create a painting. You just load all the SHP files, and let me show you how. File, invoke 2D windows. I'll do copy all these files and then paste to the 2D window. And you will see these figures in each layer. Okay, these are all the layers. You can use laser cutting to cut it and then paint all the pieces, then put them on one flat sheet. This will be the laser cutting based painting. Of course, it's more tedious because all these components has to be individually collected and positioned at the right place. So for laser cutting, if you really want to use laser cutting, I recommend you to turn on multi-layer. In multi-layer painting, it's a lot easier to align all the components. Let me show you an example. So let's go to 2D window, and then I'll use batch load second output SHP files. So these are the corresponding layers. The first layer is just a circular, a ring shape, and then second layer on top of the first, so on and so forth. It's a little bit easier than the previous one, than the one layer option to align all the components. But still, I don't think laser cutting methods is as simple as 3D printing in this particular method. So 3D printing is recommended. That is all I want to show you on the painting version 2. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Goodbye.